Welcome to Cosmic Diaries and welcome to this Leo new moon. The Leo new moon took place yesterday on the 26th of July at 6:41 p.m. and this new moon was in conjunction to Jupiter in Leo. So this new moon is kicking off this whole big Jupiter in Leo cycle for the coming 12 months. So this video will come in handy, I would say, long after this week. But yes, today I want to talk to you a little bit about the coming week, aspects in the coming week, and what Leo energy is all about. So, if you watched my video last week, or even if you were just observing your own life, there's been a lot of shifts and there's been a lot of changes and there's been a lot of developments that have asked you to be spontaneous and think on your feet and make quick decisions and choices. And hopefully through this time you've been able to remain balanced and take that leap of faith. But now this is Leo new moon. This is the Leo new moon and we're in a new cycle now. As much as there have been a lot of shifts in the last week, as you enter this new cycle, there's also been a lot of lessons that have been learned. So it will require consciousness of what you're creating as you enter this new cycle. Leo is the sign that rules creativity, the heart. Leo is ruled by the sun, so it's your sense of being. The symbol of Leo is the lion. So think of a cat. And this is the embodiment of that energy where you are able to metaphorically jump from great heights and still land on your feet. It's understanding your innate nature and then being able to take that leap and knowing that you're going to land on your feet. But it also means being in check of your ego and being conscious of your ego and not, especially in this conjunction to Jupiter, not thinking you know it all, because you don't. And especially right now, that's where you could stumble, is thinking you know it all. The only way you can proceed now is in humility. Then you have the protection of Jupiter that will guide you and show you just what you need to know when you need to know it. It's your creativity, your sense of passion, adventure, courage. Leo is the sign that rules love, your sexuality, or sex for fun, where you're just exploring yourself and your sexuality with yourself or then with another, but without the attachments of it, but just staying in the moment, being able to feel like you're being lost in the moment, so completely absorbed in the moment that everything else disappears and that moment stretches out to eternity. Because Leo is the sign of the eternal now, and if you think about it, fact is, there is only the present, and that's the truth of Leo. There is no such thing as the past or the future. We're living in one continuous, eternal, dynamic moment. And when the sun is in Leo, and right now as we move through this new moon in Leo, and especially with Jupiter in Leo, the more you can be in the moment, you're going to find that your choices expand, your world expands, and you're able to express yourself more wholly. Also, the new moon energy always seeds the cycle up until the full moon. So really this video, although I'm covering aspects over the coming week, you can hang on to it and watch it at a later time and it will still come in, it will still be applicable. Venus is currently making an opposition to Pluto. So this whole cycle is asking us to let go of the past, especially past conditioning. And there may be deep emotions welling up right now. Perhaps even insecurities when it comes to love and money especially, or relationships and money, which will call for, again, that conscious breaking down of conditioning, letting go of your attachments and letting go of codependency. Leo is the sign that rules the self. So there is a level of independence that's required. And also a breaking down of the ego. as you move through this cycle. Mars entered Scorpio, and this was just hours before, the night before the new moon on the 25th of July. And Mars now has been in Libra for the past 8 months. And this has been during which time it's been retrograde. And as you are aware, it's been quite a time of learning lessons. And now as Mars enters Scorpio, this is its home sign. And this is a deep change in effect. This is deep transformation. So, and Scorpio is a sign that asks for a letting go, asks for surrender. And Mars is the god of passion, anger, sex, your ambition, your drive. And what does letting go mean? It doesn't mean that you let go of your drive or you let go of your desires, but it means that you are conscious of them and know how you're channeling them. Because Mars is very fiery energy, and Scorpio can be destructive energy if it's not consciously channeled. So if you're not being conscious, you could be destroying the very thing that you're trying to create, especially as we're in a new moon cycle with a Leo new moon, to this new moon cycle, because otherwise this could be very self-destructive energy if you're not conscious of your pride, your ego, your defenses. Or there could be ways that you just consciously be self-sabotaging yourself. So it has to be, you have to use awareness with this energy. If you are conscious, you could bring about deep transformation and even resurrection. This is very, especially when it comes to relationships, it's very passionate energy, it's very sexual energy. But we're also reaching the end of a 2-year cycle as we approach the end of August. On the 25th of August, when Mars makes a conjunction to Saturn. So I'll have more on that later, but we're reaching the end of a 2-year cycle that began in 2012 October. So you might want to look back to what was going on then and think of this as a time of release and remembering the lessons you've learned as you move towards the end of August and through this Mars and Scorpio cycle. Because that's another milestone. The 1st of July, Mercury enters Leo. On Friday, Venus will be in a trine to Saturn and Chiron while she squares Uranus and Jupiter, bringing big shifts but yet stabilizing a situation. So when it comes to the Venus situation, if you are able to let go of your attachments and trying to control something, you could have massive breakthroughs now, allowing you to stabilize a situation that you've perhaps not felt very secure in. And so you can start to feel a lot more comfortable in it. But again, this necessarily, whenever I'm speaking to you about astrology, I'm trying to get you to go inward. Not that things aren't changing on the outside, but really this is about learning to balance your energy internally. So you're responding to life consciously and not through your lens of perception, which is especially important as Mercury enters Leo. That happens on the 31st of July, and then Mercury will be joining the Sun and Jupiter in Leo, and as well as Lilith, who's currently in Leo. You can't control other people, but when you're communicating, it's important that you're being honest. But with honesty, it's also necessary to be compassionate, because the truth without compassion can be hurtful. Also, watch your own defensiveness that prevents you from hearing the truth, or your perceptions that may cause you to get offended by something or personalize something that has nothing to do with you. Leo is asking you to be your best self. Leo wants to be the biggest, boldest, and most noticeable person in the room, but that comes from you being able to be yourself wholly and not comparing yourself to others, because you can't be anybody else. You can only be you. And the more you can let go of your need for validation, you can simply be yourself and be all that you can be. As this energy builds up, next Sunday on the 3rd of August, Mercury squares Mars. Now Mercury is in Leo, Mars is in Scorpio. this is a deep turning point. It can be a deep change in our circumstances, but a square always points to an inner resolution. So this is about being honest with yourself first. And it could be very easy to get caught up in angry arguments or projecting this energy outward, which would come, you could say things that you regret. Or something that you don't like before you react or retaliate and get that more momentary satisfaction of your ego, being able to get back at someone. First, acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge how you really feel, and then you can be honest and respond to a situation directly in awareness and while being in control of your own power. Because once you get angry, you've lost control of yourself. And then you're not only destroying someone else, you're destroying yourself and what you're trying to create. So it's just having to be very conscious, which at the end of the week does bring a turning point, and it could actually be a rather enlightening moment, a very insightful moment. Yes, be very conscious as you move through this. Above all, this coming year and certainly this coming week and the next 2 weeks, the message for us is that so now as you move through this coming week and certainly over the next 12 months as we begin this cycle, because the conjunction to the new moon of the new moon and Jupiter was just by a degree. So it's really this new start marking the next 12 months. Is that humility precedes to greatness. And as long as you can remain humble, you will be able to shine your greatest light. And this is not about you. I've said this before in my last video, but this is Leo, the sign of the sun, and the sun shines. Whether it's day or night, the sun is always shining. Whether you can see it or not, the sun is always shining. So it's not about what you receive and what the glitz and the glamour, which, okay, they may be the perks of Leo. The recognition may be the perks of Leo, but that's not the goal of Leo. And that's actually, again, they are the fruits of your efforts, and those efforts, it has to be selfless. It's about the sun. The sun is just putting out energy. The sun does not care if you are grateful to it or not, or you recognize it or not. It makes no difference. The sun is simply putting out energy. So it's about you living your best life and not comparing yourself to others, not thinking you know it all, because you don't. And that's where you will stumble. I'm going to be putting up the monthly report for July. I'll be posting it up on the blog, so do check in with that. And there's still a week in July left, and you can read what's going on, and that way you get an idea of what I send out to my subscribers each month, so they have a heads up on the whole month. And I hope you do read that, and if you like it, please sign up and subscribe. You can get a 1-week free trial, and your subscriptions help support this blog and these videos. And I'm actually going to be putting up another little video with a way that you could possibly contribute to the blog and these videos if you feel that they're helpful to you, and that would be a great help to me as well. So I'll have something up on that in the next couple of weeks as I find the time. I just have a lot of writing to do, and I'm finishing up the 2015 horoscopes, so those should be out soon. So I just have a lot going on, but I'll be back with another video in a week at the most, but probably sooner. I wanted to do a separate video on Jupiter and Leo. And a very happy Leo new moon to you again. Mine, by the way, I ended up very spontaneously going to the river, and I sat in the valley, in the river, amongst rocks with a friend, and we just enjoyed the river. And I didn't have a camera, so I couldn't take pictures, but you had to be there. I'd write about it, but I have no words. So I was very grateful for that moment. And I hope you're enjoying your little moments and being grateful for them and for this life that you've been given. Because as you can see around the world, it's something we can't take for granted anymore. Because there are a lot of big egos running this world at the moment. And until we're able to wake up and have the courage to stand up, and not for necessarily what we believe in, because it's beliefs that have got us into trouble this far, but really stand up and have the courage to be ourselves, that's when there's going to be change. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks as always for watching and listening to me babble on and on. But ta-da.